adding a deck or a patio, adding a 3 seasons or 4 seasons porch, do these things add value to your home? My name's Travis Anderson. Let's talk about it. Here's the reality of all of these additions or improvements to your house. It all depends on a buyer's expectation in that price range. Let's use my neighborhood as an example. I've got a big deck off the back of my home. It's like an oversized deck. Does it increase the price of my home? Well, the reality is every home in my whole entire neighborhood has an extremely nice deck or an extremely nice patio. So having that deck or patio in my neighborhood, it might increase the value of your home relative to other neighborhoods, but not to the neighborhood that I'm in. So if somebody's looking for a home in this price range, in this neighborhood, if I don't have a deck or I don't have a patio, it's probably gonna lessen the value of my home. The same holds true for a 3-car garage. If I'm in a neighborhood built in like the 50s, 60s, 70s, something like that, most of those homes currently have 2-car garages. So if I have a 3-car garage, or it's going to have improved the value of my home relative to the neighborhood. It's not going to increase it by the cost of building that garage though, because you can't get outside the value of expectations within any given neighborhood. But the same holds true for the 4 seasons porch. Well, now you're adding square footage onto your property. You can increase the price and value that way. You're obviously changing the complete feel of your home. And most neighborhoods don't have 4 seasons porches in every single property. And so you're gonna stand out from that perspective. And so those things will add value. Now, real estate is a commodity, but there's so many variations that it sort of adjusts based on a buyer's expectation. But let's take a look at something completely different that's much more of a commodity. Let's look at gasoline, for example. If I'm in the market for gas and I drive by a Holiday and I see it's $2.99, and then I see a Super American, it's $2.99, and then I see a Quick Trip and it's $2.99, I'm gonna choose any one of those 3. They're usually sort of around the same price, within a couple of pennies of each other. And so we know the value is $3 at that moment in time. And so I get gasoline. But let's say I drive by those gas stations and I'm heading out of town. And now I'm on the highway and I'm 15 or 20 miles away from the city. But now my light comes on. I now become a high demand consumer for gasoline. I need to basically hit the next exit or maybe the exit following to get gas. And I do that and I see there's a Quick Trip again and I exit and the price there is $3.09. Now I know that I could get it for $2.99 down the road. But my need for gas at that moment in time exceeds my willingness to get it for $3. So I'm gonna pay slightly more for that product. So that's when the price is different than the value, because the value at that moment in time is $3. I know that because I just seen it. Now, similarly, think of this. Let's say you're in town for gas and you know it's $2.99 and you have a half a tank. And now all of a sudden you see somebody selling it for $2.89. You're like, I'm gonna fill up. I don't need gas, but I'm gonna go in there and fill up because who knows, they're gonna raise the price tomorrow probably. So you zip in there and you fill up a half a tank. Same thing happens in real estate. If you're underpriced, but the value is higher, it's going to increase the demand of your home. So let me give you an exact example of this flipped on its head in real estate. I just had a client buying new construction and we found a builder who builds the deck. Now it's pretty rare to have a deck included with new construction. But in this instance, this builder has the deck included. Now imagine what my buyer thought. She was like, well, I could buy the lot across the street, different builder, but the same floor plan, similar finishes, etc., similar price, or I can pay the same price and have one that has a deck. So the value of that home increased in her mind, even though the price didn't necessarily change. It was about the same. But that home sold and the new construction across the street is still for sale. My client bought and closed on that home while that other one is still sitting there for sale today. So that's an example about how these things can absolutely increase the value of your home, even if it doesn't necessarily increase the price of your home. And then on the flip side, we saw if demand increases enough, you can actually absolutely increase the price of your home because of the value add. That's kind of a complex conversation. And if you've got questions about this, about your home, give me a call, shoot me a text, hit me up in the comments section. And as always, all my best to you and yours.